Well, we're back again for another update on the Loft Railway build, and this is great fun, isn't it? It's really hard work, but I've been doing some more work up in the loft. I've got quite a lot done over this weekend, and I've taken the time to film bits and pieces here and there so you can keep up to date on what I've been doing. Looking forward to the grand day when we're going to start laying track on baseboards, but until then, let's take a closer look at what I've been up to. It's filthy up here, but it's not as filthy as it was. But as you can see, we've got a big room up here. Yeah. I'm amazed that in nearly 100 years, occupants of this house have never thought, that's a big space up there, we could make good use of it. Started work on the last section here, and as you can see, it's getting there, just a little piece left to cut in the corner. It's quite tricky because of its proximity to the loft hatch. And until I get all this insulation up, it's actually a little bit hard to tell where the edge of the loft hatch is. But we're getting there, and already I can hear the outside world fading away in terms of sound. So we're looking pretty good, actually. Over this, I'm going to go over with the gaffer tape on the joints. And then we've just really got this dark area. It doesn't really show up well on camera. In the corner, we'll get that done, get the edging done. And all the insulation off the floor here is going to get put behind there. So that'll insulate this wall which I've left, and all along the bottom there. So finding a use for it all. But I'm going to crack on. It's hard work, and as you can hear, again, voice muffled, breathing mask, good idea still. But I'm hoping by the end of tonight to be in a position where I might be able to get the floor clear and then go over with a brush and hoover and start to cut down the dust in here, and that will really make things a lot easier. I know it's been advised to me that I can get rid of that water tank by cutting it up with a saw, but I decided that because it's well wedged in, I was going to just leave it be. I've stuffed it full of insulation, so it should be alright, and then I've started boarding along here, and behind there is loads of insulation that I've taken off the floor. So I'm exposing other layers of insulation underneath. So it's going alright. I've put some rolls of insulation down around there that need to be moved around and behind all of this. That's probably going to be the next task because I'm now committed. I started taking up the insulation in the main area of the loft to be able to put it behind some of this boarding. So basically I've got to crack on and get it finished now, otherwise it's going to be cold in the house if we get a frost. Well, we're now at a point where I see the floor again. See, I told you it was boarded underneath. Not the greatest of jobs, but all the insulation that was in here is now behind that wall. So that's literally a wall of insulation. I've just got that corner to do, and then I need to do right up there beyond the light, just in the apex, and then we're pretty much sealed. It's just a case of putting the jab light up. I can already hear that the echo is that of quite a nice little room. One thing I have found is the electrician that we used about 7 years ago when we moved in bodged this somewhat. So yeah, great, grand, thank you very much for just drilling a hole in my floorboards and running the cables over the top. That is a wedge of parcel tape, and 3 wires go into one. So yeah, interesting to see what on earth is hidden underneath there, but I'll have to do something about that. There's also a big ridge across the middle of the floor. It might not show up too much, but the ridge is actually a brick wall. In the middle of the house there's a big brick wall, and what's apparent is that the bricks probably protrude further than the joists that are holding the floor up here. So another one of those things that back in the oldie worldy days, people just bodged it and crept away. So anyway, it's a good deal cleaner in here because I've swept up. So the contents of this box is a lot of the dust and dirt. So hopefully that now means that the dust is kept down. I can already breathe properly up here without hacking away. So that little corner there is the biggie. Up until the sun started to set outside, I could actually see little chinks of light over in that corner, which is not the greatest, but that's why I need to fill this in. So got a little bit more work to do. I'm going to crack on with that, and then I'm going to get a nice long hot bath, I think. Started panelling over there, got the jab light in, but that has been an arduous task to say the least. But it seems to be done now. So you can probably hear that I'm really out of breath and tired. But still so much to do. I don't think I'm going to get to paint it tomorrow. Maybe the day after. That corner is sorted. I still got a panel over that. But there's no breezes or anything. I've also done up in the roof there. I'm going to put some air vents through. They'll be quite easy to do. Just drill some holes and put the air vent over the top. Job's a good one. So don't worry about that. And then I've got so much jab light to put on. Wooden panelling. And the wooden panelling just does take a lot out of me. The 8-foot lengths like that are just too long. So when I get some more, I'm going to get them cut in half. So they'll be 4 foot by 2 foot. And see how that goes. That might be a lot easier to manage. As long as they get to the roof joists. Pretty much as far as I'm going to get today. And I'm going to get a long hot bath, clean up, clean my hair. But the wall you see behind me, I've still got to tackle that. I've got some of the materials for it. I think this job just gets bigger and bigger. I'm just too ambitious. I just try and get too much done at once. But there we go. As you can see, we're coming on great here. Doing the lining on the wall. We've got a wooden framework going in. That's just loose. I've drilled and roll plugged the holes. I'm just waiting on my drill to charge so I can screw in the screws. Getting a lot of this jab light up, and it hides that awful rough brick wall. And I'm going to have to think of a way to mark where these battens are for when I screw stuff on later. But I'm really pleased with this. It should warm things up in here as well as neaten it up. I need to get plywood to go over the top, but I thought there's no point in me buying more and more materials if they're just piling up in here. So I've still got tomorrow that I can do some work, but so I might go to the woodyard tomorrow, by which time hopefully all this wall will have been done, and I'll get a better idea of how much wood I'm going to need to cover all that. Now, one thing that we have found is that these electrics over here, they may look like proper mains 3-pin plug-in electrics, but actually the Muppets that we bought this house from have plumbed that into the lighting circuit. Now, I discovered this when I was using this, and I've been wondering why the lights were flickering so much, and then pop, the circuit breaker went, but only on the lighting circuit, which enlightened where they've actually plumbed that into. Being bone idle, they've just taken the power from the lighting circuit, because the mains, ring main, would be down under the floorboards of the floor beneath us. So what I'm going to have to do is run a proper power cable from downstairs up into the room. I'm going to keep this for actually putting the lights into, so the lights will be on the lighting circuit, but the plug sockets, the proper plug sockets, will be to the proper ring main. So a little bit more work, but over in the corner over there, there's already where the CCTV went through the ceiling down to the base unit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a cable down through there as a spur from downstairs, and I'll take the opportunity to run an Ethernet cable through as well, so that I can plug in my computer up here and get a decent connection to the outside world. So that's where we're up to, and thankfully I don't have to wear my engineering romper suit and breathing mask anymore. The dust situation in here has been sorted, And in fact, I've heard the wind blowing away outside and there's no draft. So I'm really quite pleased. And it's also warm in here. And the added fringe benefit is that it's warm downstairs too. So last night we noticed in the bedroom, the one bedroom that's normally got a bit of a cold spot, that the cold spot had gone. So that has solved a long-running mystery of 7 years as to why that room was always really cold. So there we go. I'm going to crack on. So you keep watching now and let's see where we get to. This is where progress is up to. We're getting that wall done actually. I say we, it's the royal we, it's just me up here. So I'm now at a point where I need some more plywood. Not just to finish off this wall, but also finish off all around. There's little bits here and there. So it's really coming along. And what I'm going to do is I've been having to think about how to get the wood cut rather than just getting these generic 8 foot by 2 foot lengths, basically an 8x4 sheet cut in half. I'm going to get some 8 foot by 1 foot strips, and that will help finish off without too much cutting some of these little gaps that have appeared, rather than having to do an awful lot of cutting. And I'm going to get some 2 foot by 4 foot pieces, basically an 8x4 sheet cut into quarters, to do up there. So coming along. Well, got the first coat of paint on. You can see it's a lot brighter up here. So I've painted what I was able to panel with the wood. It'll need another coat, but it'll keep the dust down as well, because once you seal the timber, it doesn't give off so much dust. So it's something here that I did a video on quite a long time ago about a simple how to make your model railway room seem a lot brighter, improve the lighting. And it's simply to paint the walls and ceiling in a very light colour. I've chosen sky blue here because I want to make it actually like the sky. I'm going to have a go at doing clouds with sponges. But you can see the difference that even just painting a little bit with the first coat of blue has made. So that's where we're up to. Well, that's pretty good progress, isn't it? We've been coming on in leaps and bounds and got all the dirty stuff pretty much done now. We've got our sealed room. It's brilliant. But don't forget to join me again next time when hopefully we'll be getting ever closer to that grand day where we can start running trains up there in the loft. But don't forget to like this video, that's super important, and share it too. And also subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so, and you'll be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. But thanks for keeping me company through this. It's been great to have you along. And until next time, it's me, Kirk, saying bye for now. Today's video has been brought to you in part thanks to the generous donation of my fans on Patreon. And an extra special huge thanks goes out to Anthony Kidson, Mark Anthony, Michael Churchwood, Mark McShane, Bob Threeton, Alec Ralph, Anthony Hunt, and William Wade. If you'd like to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk. Thank you. Today's video has been brought to you by my books, Bringing Home the Stars, Twinkle Little Star, and also you can get the complete comic collections of All Over the House, Books 1, Books 2, and also the wacky zany Life of Knob T Mouse. Thanks, and catch you later.